Fascism is a term that carries significant historical weight, yet its misuse in contemporary political discussions, particularly in the US, threatens to dilute its significance. Applying the term fascism loosely, or using it for sensational headlines, detracts from the genuine dangers this political philosophy has posed throughout history. To guard against its resurgence, a comprehensive understanding of fascism is imperative. A concise definition of fascism is elusive. Historian Roger Griffin offers a description framing fascism as a political belief grounded in the mythical notion of a nation's rebirth through intense populist nationalism. The term paleogenetic underlines this sense of resurgence. Yet defining a fascist government solely through Griffin's lens is overly simplistic. The etymology of the word fascism traces back to the Italian term for a bundle of rods. This imagery encapsulates strength through unity, a principle not exclusive to fascism. Thus, caution is needed when attributing specific practices of one fascist regime as representative of the entire ideology. Fascism, in its core, is rooted in fervent nationalism, making it inherently malleable based on its nation of origin. For instance, while both Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy are identified under the umbrella of fascism, their practical applications differed. Furthermore, unlike ideologies with clear-end goals like Marxism or anarchism, fascism's objectives are nebulous, mainly centered around opposing other ideologies rather than championing its own. Thus, while fascist regimes have commonalities, a single attribute cannot conclusively define fascism. Despite the complexity, some common threads run through fascist movements. Fascism passionately advocates for a vision of extreme nationalism that promises not just progress, but a revolutionary overhaul of national existence. This ideology often manifests in authoritarian governance, where citizens yield to the ruling party's will. Economically, fascism tends to favor regulation and cherish the elite, replacing traditional elites with its chosen leaders. At its core, fascism holds a Darwinian belief in the necessity of struggle, seeing violence not only as inevitable but also as a means to purge and rejuvenate the nation. Beyond these foundational beliefs, fascists have distinct operational methodologies. Central to these is the idea of mass mobilization. Fascists seek not just elite control, but a profound societal transformation, mobilizing the populace towards a shared vision. Leaders in fascist movements are elevated to an almost divine status, aiming to replace traditional religious beliefs with a secular, state-focused faith. Fascists harness powerful symbols, ceremonies, and aesthetic elements to create an immersive, near-religious experience for their followers. Additionally, fascism tends to emphasize traditional gender roles, with male dominance and the relegation of women to secondary, supportive roles being a common theme. Fascism, by its nature, is revolutionary and aims to rejuvenate nations. This promise of renewal is especially captivating to the youth, often seen as the future of a nation. Their adventurous spirit and boldness align seamlessly with the revolutionary essence of fascism, drawing them closer. In contrast, the older generation, often pragmatic by nature, might find the allure of fascism less captivating. A crucial feature of fascism is its reliance on authoritative leadership. While many political movements hinge on the charisma of their leaders, fascism uniquely blends populism and elitism. It strives to resonate with the masses while placing immense emphasis on an almost divine leadership figure. Rather than being bounded by party protocols or set doctrines, this leader stands at the epicenter of the movement. Though such leaders might ascend to power through democratic means, their reign is marked by undisputed loyalty and allegiance. Complementing the authoritarian leadership, fascism also advocates for the militarization of governmental structures. The embodiment of this militarized approach is the party militia, a unified military force dedicated to upholding, defending and enacting the party's agenda. This militia isn't merely a security force. It's an integral, visible component of everyday life in fascist regimes, representing the aesthetics and ideals of the movement. With an understanding of the structure and ethos of fascism, one may wonder about its origins. How did such a seemingly rigid and unappealing political ideology gain momentum? The answer can be traced back to a specific event. On March 23, 1919, Benito Mussolini led a gathering of 100 Italians in the Milan Industrial and Commercial Alliance, laying the groundwork for his fascist organization. This formation, influenced heavily by the scars of the Great War and the inadequacies of existing institutions, was not an isolated incident. Parallel movements were budding across Europe. Post-Great War Europe was in turmoil. The devastation of the war, which had swallowed an entire generation, led many to believe that the European civilization, once considered the epitome of progress, was disintegrating. The aftermath of the war presented a vacuum, with liberalism, conservatism and communism vying for dominance. Each had its vision for the future, from self-determined harmony under liberalism, militaristic diplomacy under conservatism, to the global spread of communism envisioned by Lenin. The post-war political landscape was tumultuous, with none of the three dominant ideologies gaining a clear upper hand. The liberal peace treaties, influenced by conservative ideologies, left both sides disgruntled. Lenin's communist aspirations, although ambitious, remained largely confined within Russia's borders. This void created an opening for an alternative ideology. An illustrative sentiment from this period is that of Italian soldier Italo Bal, who expressed disdain for the political establishment and yearned for a foundational change. This sentiment eventually aligned him with Mussolini's rising fascist regime. Fascism offered solutions that other political ideologies couldn't. It proposed resolving territorial disputes by asserting the dominance of the strong, a strength derived not just from military might, but from a blend of armed prowess and nationalistic zeal. This starkly contrasted with the peace-preserving strategies of liberals and the militaristic stance of conservatives. The fascists viewed war as a cleansing process, eliminating the weak and paving the way for the strong United Nations to dominate. Their perspective on societal struggles differed from Lenin's class conflicts. They saw it as a battle between the pure and the alien, with nationalism being the unifying force. The rise of fascism wasn't just a consequence of political or societal events. It was also deeply rooted in intellectual movements of the time. The movement found adversaries in liberty, reason and harmony, and was challenged by thinkers, writers and intellectuals. Figures like Friedrich Nietzsche, with his critiques on modern society, and Georges Sorel, with his concept of a grand myth, influenced early fascists. Works like Gustave Le Bon's The Crowd highlighted the manipulative potential of crowd psychology, a notion that resonated with the rising populist political environment. One of the most profound impacts of fascism is its emotional legacy. Its ethos has been so powerful that even today we often find ourselves reacting passionately to anything that remotely resembles it. This emotional response, in many ways, stands as a testament to the devastating physical and spiritual influence fascism has had on humanity. It's no wonder, then, that we, as a global community, are perpetually vigilant, almost hypersensitive to its resurgence. However, this heightened sensitivity comes with its pitfalls. The term fascism is now so frequently and recklessly used that it's on the brink of losing its genuine meaning. The danger lies in its dilution. If everyone and everything is branded as fascist, then the real threats, the genuine fascists, can evade attention. They can silently maneuver in the backdrop, waiting for the opportune moment to ascend to power. Such entities exploit our collective memory, using the same emotional levers that past fascist regimes manipulated. The spectre of fascism hasn't been vanquished, and the key to confronting it is recognizing its true face.